Hey everybody, if you plan on relocating, moving to the Temecula Murrieta area, this video is going to talk about the HOA versus non-HOA communities within both of those cities. There's a lot to go over and there's a lot for you to understand before, in my opinion, you can make a decision on what is going to be best for you. First, I'm just going to talk generally about both cities and the HOAs, and then I'm going to get into 10 of the most asked questions specifically targeting Temecula and Murrieta HOAs. So stay for the whole video. Make sure you subscribe if you're planning on moving to this area, because I have a ton of content that can help you out. Just check my YouTube channel. I have over 100 or 600, videos. I've got a blog post, exploringtemecula.com, so you can check that out as well. And then make sure you check our reviews on Google, Greenleaf Real Estate and Appraisal. We have over 55 5-star reviews. Okay, so the first thing generally I wanted to talk about Temecula and Murrieta, there are a lot of HOA communities. I would say there's at least 15, 20 HOA communities within both cities. And the difference between many of the HOA cities or HOA communities in Temecula and Murrieta compared to throughout Southern California is you are getting a lot for the monthly fee. Many of the communities have pools, walking paths, tennis courts, basketball, frisbee golf, you name it, these communities do have it. So you're not paying, let's call it $100 just to have the front sign and some of the community, the common areas cut back and upkept. You're actually going to be able to use many amenities within these communities. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, and this is for the people that do not want an HOA, specifically to Temecula and Murrieta, I can tell you, you are risking curb appeal if you do not pick an HOA community. Why is this happening specifically in this area? I think because water and electricity and because of expenses, things have gone up so much that many people in non-HOA communities are letting their grass die. And what you are risking when buying in a non-HOA community is you could move in and have 3 or 4 of your neighbors have really nice lawns, really nice curb appeal, and they sell their home, and your neighbor comes in and basically lets the grass die and puts farm equipment on their old farm equipment. And that actually happened to me last year, where I showed a home in a non-HOA community directly across in the cul-de-sac. This guy had at least 15 pieces of equipment that might have been all rusted out, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I can tell you from an agent standpoint that if I see neighbors that do not have nice curb appeal and that are going to bring down your home, I am very upfront with my buyers, and I say, you know what, you might want to pass on this. This is not going to be good. If you go to resell this home, I can guarantee you there's going to be 50 to 70% of buyers that are going to walk up, see your neighbor, and say, you know what, we're just not going to see this house. Nothing to do with your house, how well you keep your house. They just want an aesthetic, nice looking neighborhood. And with a non-HOA community, oftentimes you are going to have the outliers that bring down the whole community. Now, getting into some specific questions, what is the average HOA cost in Temecula and Murrieta? They're going to range anywhere from $30 to $250. Now, the higher end communities that are going to have that $250 HOA are Summers Bend, which is a brand new community. Amazing amenities, but you're going to pay for it. And then you have Greer Ranch in Murrieta. Now, that is a guard-gated community, so that's a big part of where that extra, I guess, monthly payment is coming in. So if you do want to feel a little bit extra security, Greer Ranch is a great community. I mean, it's beautiful. I've sold multiple homes there, but just be aware that the HOA is going to be on the higher end. When you get down to the $30 to $40 a month HOA, where I notice this the most is in Red Hawk, and with that $30 to $40, you're not really getting much. You might get a park, a tot lot or something, but overall, you're not getting the walking paths, the pool, the tennis courts, all of those things. So if you're okay with that, this might be a good option because you are going to have regulations on your neighbors, but you just don't have the amenities with the pool, which is going to save you. To my third point, the average HOA cost, I would say, in Temecula and Murrieta is around $90 to $110. Now, every community that I know of that are $90 to $110 have the pools, have the baseball courts, have the soccer fields, have the walking paths, have the baseball or basketball courts. Okay, so next, how strict are the HOA communities in both cities? First thing, I'm not going to be able to get into specifics on every single community because I don't really know the regulations for each HOA. When you are in escrow, you're going to get an HOA packet with the rules and regulations so you can look through those. Now, I can speak to just generally what you're not going to be able to do. One of the biggest things in this specific area, a lot of people own RVs. Why do people not want an HOA in many cases around this area? Because they have an HOA or an RV that they want to park in their driveway. I can tell you, probably 100%, maybe 95% of the HOAs in both of these communities are not going to allow you to park your RV in the driveway or on the side of the road. So that is a big negative for anybody that has an RV. The next thing that I can pretty much tell you is they're going to have color palettes for your home. I like this idea. I've seen a few pink homes throughout Temecula and Murrieta, and that's the risk that you're willing to take if you don't get in an HOA. You could have a neighbor move in a house, paint it dark blue, light pink, and I'm telling you, it does happen because I've seen them around. So I would say those two are the biggest things that, and the grass, of course, like the curb appeal. Those three things, the curb appeal, keeping your grass up, not painting your house a crazy color, and not being able to park your RV in the driveway or on the street are three of the things, the major things that every HOA in these two cities are going to have as rules and regulations. Okay, so the process, if you want to change or do something to your home in regards to HOAs in Temecula and Murrieta, it is pretty simple. What I can't tell you is how available some of these HOA communities are. Just for instance, I get tons of calls from random people because I do so many blog posts about talking about different HOAs. They call me instead of the HOA, so it's obviously not easy to get in contact with a phone number for some of these HOAs. But once you do get in contact with the HOAs, you're probably going to be able to go over there. They're going to give you, for example, you want to paint your house, they're going to give you color palettes of 10 to 15 different colors that you're able to paint your house. You can get it signed off and you can do that. So basically anything that you want to do with that is really going to change the home aesthetically, especially in the front yard with curb appeal, make sure that you go to the HOA and get that approved before you do it. So next question, will buying in an HOA over a longer period of time allow my home to be more desirable and be worth more for the average buyer? I would say generally speaking, yes, but there are instances throughout both cities where if you're not in an HOA, typically, or not typically, but in a lot of cases, they have larger lots. And with that larger lot, they might have RV parking, they might have ADUs, or the option to easily put in an ADU. There are things that in a non-HOA community that you can do to increase your home's value. In an HOA community, it's going to be very uniform. It's going to be very well upkept throughout the community. So I would say just a safer bet would be to buy in an HOA community. Okay, so the next question is maintenance. Typically in an HOA, you're going to have more maintenance responsibilities than a non-HOA, of course. But there are HOA communities, for example, Harveston, which is one of the biggest communities in Temecula, in North Temecula, that many of the homes have built into the HOA cost front yard maintenance. So you don't have to cut your lawn, you don't have to cut the shrubs. So it really is just going to depend on the HOA and what that money is paying for. But there are communities out there that you will not have to take care of landscaping, especially in your front yard. Okay, so next, are there any hidden special assessments or Melrose payments within HOA communities? My answer to that is no. And I can't get into specifics on this, but your HOA and your special assessments are really two different things. The only thing that I say is that the newer the home, the higher the Melrose or special assessments are going to be. So if you want a new home, be prepared, your taxes are going to be higher. And oftentimes the HOA on newer neighborhoods is going to be higher as well. Okay, so next question, do HOAs generally give you a better sense of security or safety for your family? Overall, I would say no. Again, you can find homes in guard-gated communities in both cities. Obviously, a guard-gated community is going to add a little bit of more security to you. Typically, I would say the HOA communities in both Temecula and Murrieta are more in the city environment, so it's just less likely, probably. Less likely for somebody to, they're not going to go after a neighborhood that has 100 homes back to back to back. When you get on the outskirts of Temecula or Murrieta, the homes have bigger lots, they're farther apart. If I was to go and hit a home, that's probably where I would do it. I wouldn't do it in the city area. Having said that, I talk about it all the time. Temecula and Murrieta are two of the safest cities in Southern California. So I never really even hear of any of this. But I'm just, common sense, if I was going to rob a home, it would probably be out in the middle of nowhere over the city. So I would maybe say, yeah, a little more security with an HOA community because most of them are within the city. Okay, so what option is better for a family? In my opinion, 100% an HOA. With the walking paths, with all the sporting activities that you can do within the community, with the pools, there's just going to be a lot more to do, and the weather here allows you to do it. You're going to be able to use the pool for 6 months of the year. For 3 months when it's really hot, you're really going to be able to use the pool. When winter hits, you're going to be able to play sports like use the basketball courts, use the baseball courts or baseball fields, use the walking paths. Even in the summer when it gets really hot, if you want to walk in the mornings, 6, 7 o'clock, it's fine. But I would say, yes, overall, there's going to be a lot more for you and your family to do within the HOA community. And I'll liken this to the wineries, and I'm going to compare this to the wineries. Why do we belong to a winery when we have to spend $30 or $40 a month to do that? Well, it's a lot cheaper to go and have a tasting at a winery once a week or twice a week, spend $40 a month, than going out to a restaurant and having the same thing. With an HOA, you have all these amenities. It's going to give you stuff to do that's free. Or $100 a month. It's going to be a lot less expensive than you not being in an HOA as a family and trying to figure out, we need a weekend getaway here or there. It's going to be thousands of dollars. It really is going to keep you and your family active and giving you options to do things throughout the year. And overall, you are probably going to save money in doing activities with your family. So there you have it, guys. Make sure you reach out to Greenleaf Real Estate and Appraisal. We'd be glad to help. Check out my YouTube channel. There's a lot of videos here on almost every topic you could possibly imagine. And until next time, thank you very much.